Okay, so I'm going to take you through my workforce planning presentation. Please ask any questions along the way. This is what I've put forward for the year ahead for our company based on what we've done through 2019. So I'm just going to talk about the year in review, what we've already implemented, the year ahead, and the three main points of attraction, development and retention, and the forecast of how that's going to benefit the organisation. So as you're aware, we had the sale of the two companies and that created fracture within our culture. And so we held those strategy sessions, I think there were 5, of which you were part of one. And in order to help us rebuild and create, how we were going to move forward. So we created the new vision, mission and values, and also we introduced Classic Connect for training purposes, because training was obviously one of the key fundamentals that the employees wanted to bring on board. So we had 5 groups of 15 team members. So there was discussion, there were 5 open questions thrown out to the group, and then feedback from each group was collated. And strategic focus points that came out of that was the vision, mission and values, staff recognition and culture, such as the winner circle, our members, our business and revenue generation, and also training and development. So what I've done is analysed the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats for our business, because that helps me provide where we have an opportunity, where we might have some gaps within what we're doing at the moment. So do any of those strike you as being anything out of the ordinary from what I've put up there?
Attraction in general, how...
attraction.
Yeah, attraction.
Yeah. It's based on what we've done previously. We haven't really had, I suppose our recruitment strategy in the past has just been, let's get somebody in to fill the seat, basically. So now we are more focusing on what we've created with our vision, mission and values, and also with how we've changed our culture in here. So we want to attract, yes, we always want to have talent coming on board, but we also want to have the right attitude and the right people that are going to fit into that culture.
And you want them to want to come and work here too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just for the job, but because they want to come and work for us.
Absolutely, yeah. So be a preferred employer. Yeah. And so, we've introduced things like Live Your Best Life Day, bring your dog to work. So we're definitely a culture that people want to be part of. But we just want to make sure we attract that talent, that we're just not, it's not a guessing game on who's going to come on board. We set our recruitment strategies to make sure that, we tick the boxes of what is going to help us achieve our strategic goals. So you obviously changes to Fair Work legislation, can have a big impact.
Yes.
Especially if there's differences to like the salary changes that are happening on the 1st of March, and they can actually put some maybe some brakes on certain things, but it's actually having a strategy and then being flexible with that in how we're going to manage anything like a threat.
And also being aware of it too.
100%, yeah. So I mean, you can put forward a forecast, but things change along the way. So the opportunities I see moving forward are, like we just discussed, attracting a new talent pool, changing employment structure. So we've predominantly been full-time. How would that look having part-time employees built into the structure? Training and development with Classic Connect. Technology with the bot has created those skill gaps, but also utilising social media more. So we currently recruit on Indeed and Seek, but from what I've seen, studies show that Facebook and LinkedIn actually generate a different kind of talent pool.
Yeah.
So not doing as what we've always done, so we'll look to do different things, and utilising the fact that we do have a multi-generational workforce and using the strength of that. Any questions on that? No. So you're aware of the new vision, mission and values, and everything that I'm putting forward is linked to that because they're our strategic goals. So attraction and hiring the very best. So how does the recruitment look? So obviously we talked about being a preferred employer with what we are presenting as an employer. increased skill base with a new talent pool, so offering it to part-time employment and actually being able to engage people that we normally wouldn't even be looking at. Social media recruitment platform and the multi-generational.
I've never seen any advertising on Facebook, have you?
Well, you create a business page. We actually have one recruitment page,
Right.
and then you can attract people that way, so they actually can see the ads on Facebook. So I can show that. It was something that we trialled about 2 or 3 years ago, so we'd go back to that. But also it goes as far as employees taking the ad and putting it on their pages and saying, I can refer someone to my work if you're interested in work.
Yeah. And
therefore you are also getting people that have
promoting their own employment.
And similar sort of maybe values, and someone's put forward someone that they know has the skills and would fit into that. So you're sort of looking at a completely different group. So the part-time employment, like I said, it just gives you more opportunity to get to a talent pool that we haven't had access to before. But also, you haven't got the majority of employees working that 8 till 4, 8 till 30 till 4:30. You can have people starting 7 and finishing at 7, so maybe a 4-hour shift. They don't have to have a lunch break, and you're actually allowing members to contact us a lot earlier than what we're doing at the moment, and a lot later too on the other side. And so you actually have a much bigger, you have that 12-hour coverage rather than just that middle time slot. And it is on the increase, as you can see by the graph there. So attraction risks, so if you actually get it wrong and you introduce someone into the culture, as we've seen previously, so you have to have the right recruitment process in place with the procedures, and lack of team integration. So we have to make sure we have change management built into that as well. Not delivering what we promise, so we might say we've got this fabulous culture, and then it takes a dive and we don't do anything about that.
Or in the training when they first.
And the training, exactly. Not the induction module as well, and not attracting them. So going back to old practices and going, right, we're just going to fill a seat, come on in, we'll deal with it as we go along. So review of the recruitment procedures. This is what I would put in place to make sure that we do it properly. Skill gaps and the skills matrix. So we gauge where everybody is at the moment and build on that. Knowing our marketplace and advertising to fill the skill gaps, and levelling up our recruitment strategy like I just explained with social media. So the next one is developing, and that's based on developing the people that we have here. We have created some, position descriptions that have gaps now because the bot has taken over the basic administration tasks. So we have team members where their actual roles are not as robust as they used to be. So we need to upskill them so they feel like they're actually contributing to the organisational goals. So the new technology creating opportunities. We talked about the bot, which has obviously had a huge impact to us actually providing more services to our members. What our risks are in this is if we do develop team members, they may become more attractive to other businesses, or they may feel that they can contribute better elsewhere. So we have to monitor that as well to make sure that we still have team engagement, and that staff can feel threatened or unsettled, as in they may not be able to do what we're asking them to do, or they may feel unsettled as in how they're learning or how we're actually presenting the training.
Well, upskilling, like once someone has lost, I guess, the work that they're doing in an admin role, that they've lost that admin work.
Yes.
For them to upskill can sometimes be quite difficult.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we have to provide the correct training to make sure it's effective. And so consultation, as you know, would be a very important part of that. So you have to engage them in the process. And get them to assess their skills and their current positions, where they feel that they are sitting with it. Change management is a consistent thing. Staff engagement, communication, And obviously the effective training. There's no good just giving them training that's meaningless. It's got to be appropriate training, and that includes investing in, you know, proper modules for people. So just say we're dealing with difficult customers, I could put something together, but it's not necessarily going to be the best for the team member. So actually investing in appropriate training modules for the team. And then there's retention, so collaborate and evolve, which is one of our values. So we provide amazing employee benefits, wellness program, flexibility, which is becoming a much more integrated part of our team. We've got immense industry knowledge and experience with our workforce. We've got a stable culture, and we've got strong incentives when it comes to sales. And like I mentioned before, we've got the multi-generational, so we've got so much diversity within our workforce, but we need to use that as a strength, not as something that's going to create tension or, you know, fracture within our culture. Retention risks, as I said, stagnant workforce, so you might have just people working here but not actually being engaged or not being part of the culture. Or high turnover based on the fact that, you know, people have been here for a long time. So you've also got people that are retiring, and also in that multi-generational part. So effective is an employee survey, which we do annually, so we could adjust that according to what we want to find out from the workforce. Consistent communication, which we have with our monthly meetings, and Slack obviously has been a big contribution. Promoting from within, so when there is succession planning or there is somebody has left from a particular role, we look to make sure that's part of our framework. And welcoming internal applications, enhancing our culture as always. So we've got that monthly calendar starting in January, and increasing the flexible working arrangements, which is also becoming very part of the National Employment Standards, and work-life balance for people. So all of this, how does it gain our strategic goals? So it creates a diverse workforce, an increased skill set, which is collaborate and evolving, part of our core values. Satisfied employees, so trust matters and own it, so they're more likely to be engaged on those values. So members first, looking after our members, making holidays happen by actually increasing the number of hours that we can provide customer service, and changing old ways of how we used to do things, so thinking new. And obviously it's linked to experiences for our employees and also experiences for our members, which is our mission.
It's most definitely.
What are your thoughts?
I think it's awesome.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.